By far, the two most important tools a good musician can be born with is cool hair and a strong jawline. After that, you'd probably want good ears. So we're going to check out a program called EarMaster, which is a ear training app and also a sight singing app. But it's really more than that. You can learn counting, rhythm notation, stuff like that. It can be a great companion if you want to learn how to just read music in general. Not that you even need to know it, but we're just going to go through a couple of the modules and check it out right now. So EarMaster is a program that is available on Mac and PC. We are checking out the iOS version on an iPad today. So basically what you have a bunch of different modules to choose from in what you want to work on. And we're just going to kind of do a couple quick run-throughs just to see how it works. If we go to beginner's course, I think the first thing that we're going to do is just to do like a pitch exercise, right? So basically it teaches you a lot of different things about like pitch notation, how it sounds, and the relationships, intervals between pitch, pretty much everything. So it'll start off with like kind of like a text lesson showing you what it's talking about. Like this one specifically is going to take 3 notes, C, D, and E, and it's going to play a sample, and you have to kind of recreate what you're doing. And this is kind of like where I think this app gets it right, is because it doesn't give you too much to do. Like I've seen other ear training apps that kind of like will give you just 7 tones, like C, D, E, F, G, A, and B, and you kind of have to go through all of them. But it just kind of starts you off in a little bit easier way. So for example, if you just like play a question, we just have to get those 2, and we know that it's going to be one of these 2 notes, right? It's going to be one of those, like a C and a D, right? So you can kind of just type in what you think it is. If you need to hear it again, and then you can like do it, and then perfect score. All right, so it kind of keeps going in ascending levels of difficulty at different octaves. I know that's not it. I know if I want to hear it again, that's not it. That's a descending thing. So basically it just kind of teaches you the relationship between ascending lines and descending lines. And again, this is just like a really easy one, but what they do is they'll start introducing new notes. So right now we're just doing different C's and D's, and eventually they'll add E, and eventually add F, and you can go as advanced as you want for the different melodic dictations for pitch. So if you notice the way that these are organized, there's actually hundreds of lessons in just the beginner's course alone. Another one, especially for guitar players, are the Triads lesson. For instance, we've talked like a little bit about major and minor triads and stuff in different videos and everything, but this is a really nice one because it'll mix the triads in with other types of triads besides just major or minor. It'll give you like a 3-note arpeggio of major, minor, diminished, and augmented. So diminished meaning it just has a flat 5, augmented meaning it has a raised 5th. So what it's going to do, it's going to give you a 3-note arpeggio to listen to. And you have to choose if it's major, minor, diminished, or augmented. And then you just select which one it is, and then you can go on to the next one. That sounded minor with like a flat 5 to me, so that's diminished. Again, major again. So you can also add more, and as you go on, it'll add more types of chords, like major 7, dominant 7, stuff like that. So it's a really great way to train your ear into being able to hear what different chords sound like, arpeggiated or all at once, and you also get to see the notation of it. You can also buy separate general workshop modules to kind of hone in on specific types of what maybe you're having trouble with. So for instance, let's say you want to really hone in on the different types of scale, like modes, like guitar modes or something like that, right? You just make a scale identification one, and it'll give you the difference between major, Lydian, and mixed Lydian. And kind of like we talked about in past guitar videos, is what the major scale is, Lydian has a sharp 4, and mixed Lydian has a flat 7. So it'll play a scale for you. And I could hear there that had a 7th note that was altered, so that would be a mixed Lydian. It sounded pretty right, so it's major. Major again. So, they kind of just randomly will choose these, and as you go on and on, you can add more modes until your ears can really hear the difference between all of these, which is, again, so invaluable if you wanted to go into one of these modes to try to solo over a song. Now, I personally think that the rhythmic counting exercises are the main strength of this app, right? So, for instance, if we just go to a general workshop, rhythmic sight reading thing. It'll give you the notes that you're going to have to play, and you're going to have to clap them in, right? So it'll give you a 4-beat count in so you know the tempo, and then you have to read this, kind of sight read it, and play along with it, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? So it's a good way to really test yourself as far as how on point you are with the clapping. So that was actually like a pretty good one. Like I got all the notes right, but even if you see like some of them I was a little behind, some I was a little ahead, and after doing this for a while, it really, really tightens up your rhythm. And another way to check how you've been doing, if you go back to the home screen, there's a statistics icon. And the stats are really helpful, right? Because you can tell how you've been doing, and you can tell like maybe where you need the most work. So for example, right, if you look at all the results right here, you can see like what you got 100 on, what maybe you did poorly on, stuff like that. I think for the main statistics, like let's see here, I can like look and say like, okay, all right, my scores are pretty high here. Tonality, I'm only at like 83. So I need to work on my tonality. So I can basically just retake some of those modules, or I can go back and I can actually make my own customized exercises just to work on tonality. So really, it's a really versatile thing, because maybe if you're not interested in sight reading, you can just skip all that stuff. You can just kind of cherry pick and get the modules that you want. And really, I kind of see it as a very comprehensive music theory companion. So it's definitely worth checking out. And yeah, go ahead. I'll leave a link to the app in the bottom and let me know what you think.